She only wanted to help. A kind heart offering comfort to a man everyone thought was unshakable. But the moment she spoke, "I can fix your broken heart," the room went silent. A billionaire, drowning in loneliness, never expected those words to come from a young black girl society tried to silence. What followed wasn't just about healing. It uncovered secrets, prejudice, and a dangerous truth no one saw coming. Was this the start of redemption, or the beginning of a storm that could destroy them both? It started like any other day. Maya, a young black woman with dreams bigger than the small town she grew up in, walked into the city cafe where she worked every morning. To her, it was routine, serving coffee, smiling at strangers, and imagining a future where her voice mattered. She had no idea her life was about to collide with someone powerful, a millionaire whose wealth couldn't shield him from the pain he carried. On the surface, their worlds couldn't have been more different. But that morning, when their eyes met, something unspoken sparked. What Maya didn't realize was that this simple encounter would test more than her kindness. It would expose the prejudice around them and force a choice that could change everything. At first, it seemed almost ordinary. Maya brought him his coffee, her voice soft but steady. "I can fix your broken heart." The billionaire's lips curled into the faintest smile, a rare crack in his polished, guarded shell. But before either of them could speak again, the whispers began. A table nearby, two businessmen in suits. Their laughter wasn't just laughter. It was sharp, cutting, filled with the kind of cruelty Maya had grown used to pretending she didn't hear. "She thinks she belongs here," one of them muttered, not even trying to hide it. Maya felt the sting she'd felt 1,000 times before. But this time, someone else heard it too. The billionaire's jaw tightened. He glanced at her, then at them, as if weighing something heavy. Still, he said nothing. Not yet. Later that day, when Maya left the cafe, the city felt colder. She walked the cracked sidewalks, head down, until she noticed a black car slowing behind her. The windows tinted, the engine humming low. Her chest tightened. She told herself it was nothing. But then the car stopped, right at the corner where she needed to cross. The door opened. One of the men from earlier stepped out. His smile wasn't friendly. "You talk too much for someone who should know her place," he said, his voice low but sharp enough to slice through the night air. Maya's throat went dry. Her heart pounded. She wanted to run, but her legs felt heavy, stuck. Then a second voice cut in. Strong, unshaken. It was him, the billionaire. Somehow he was there, standing just a few feet away, his eyes locked on the men. "Enough," he said firmly. His words carried weight, but the men only laughed. "What are you going to do? Protect her?" One sneered. For a moment, silence hung like a blade. Maya could feel her pulse in her ears, could feel the danger rising around her like a tide. She looked at him, this man with everything, and wondered, would he stand with her when it mattered? Or would he step back like so many others age? The night air turned heavy, like the city itself was holding its breath. Maya stood frozen as the suited men stepped closer, their shadows stretching long under the streetlight. One of them smirked, his voice dripping with venom. "Girls like you should learn when to stay quiet." Her hands trembled, but she didn't move. She had faced words like these her whole life, but never like this, never with danger so close she could feel it pressing against her skin. The billionaire stepped forward, his expensive shoes grinding against the pavement. His face was stone, but his voice cracked like thunder. "If you touch her, you'll regret it." The men laughed, circling like predators testing prey. One shoved Maya's shoulder. She stumbled back, her pulse screaming. Fear clawed at her throat, but so did anger, the kind that refuses to stay silent anymore. Then it happened. One man grabbed her arm, too hard, too fast. Pain shot through her, and before she could cry out, the billionaire lunged. The clash was brutal, suits and fists colliding, grunts tearing through the night. Maya's voice finally broke free. "Stop." But no one stopped. A crowd began to form. Phones lifted, screens glowing. Whispers turned into gasps as strangers realized what they were witnessing. Not just a scuffle, not just words, but the raw, ugly face of racism laid bare under neon lights. And in that chaos, Maya understood. The fight was no longer just about her safety. It was about being seen, about truth, about a world that pretended not to notice until moments like this forced its eyes open. The sirens wailed in the distance. But would they bring justice or something far worse? The sirens grew louder until blue and red lights painted the street. The men who had cornered Maya didn't look so fearless anymore. But even then, she knew justice wasn't guaranteed. Too many times, the story had ended differently for people who looked like her. The police pulled them apart, voices barking commands, hands hovering near weapons. Maya's heart raced, terrified that in the chaos, she would be the one mistaken as a threat. But this time, the crowd was watching, phones recording, eyes wide, unwilling to let the truth be buried. The weight of those witnesses changed everything. By the end of the night, the men were in cuffs. The billionaire, bruised and shaken, stood beside Maya, not as a savior, but as a man who had finally seen the ugliness she lived with every day. For Maya, it wasn't relief that filled her chest, but exhaustion. And yet, there was also power. Her voice, her presence, her refusal to shrink back had forced the world to see what it often tried to ignore. But this story isn't just Maya's. It echoes far beyond one street, one night, one confrontation. It's a reminder that racism isn't always hidden in shadows. It walks beside us. It laughs at the table next to us. It lurks in the silence of those who choose not to speak. Maya's courage lit a fire that night, but the question remains, will we let it burn? Because this isn't just a story to hear and forget. It's a call to act, to speak, to protect, and to change. How many more Mayas will it take before silence is no longer an option?